Just me doing me, right?
Right as sharp. That's insane. Belly fish. What a touch.
Another compliment. There she is. Hola, señor. Bienvenidos a Maine. I don't know what I said there. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Hot Mics from Maine. Supposed to have another week off of vacation. Just said no. This isn't work. What am I doing? I'm like, I need a week off. No, I don't need a week off. This is what is fun. I am on vacation every day with you. Got to talk about the wedding. I've been chomping at the bit to talk about the wedding. Okay. Daily Mail, New York Post tried to float a little reconciliation between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively. No. Lots of sources say in there. I think that's just a hunt for subscribers, trying to get people, hooked on something. It's a bunch of bullshit. Do you care about the wedding? We're going to talk about it. Our great friend Melanie Little will be with us, the queen of Strong Island. If loving Melanie Little is wrong, I don't want to be right. Did you know that she and I went to the prom together? We did. We have a prom photo, but we'll share that. I'm going to share the prom photo of Melanie and I, but maybe not yet. Maybe soon. How bad was the Blake snub, right? Pretty bad. Do you have space for her rehabilitation eventually? Could you let her back into your good graces? Is there a scenario where that could work? And also regarding the Taylor Swift wedding, what the hell is Brad Pitt doing there? I don't understand the massive amount of celebrities that were there. But first, I'm obsessed with the World Cup. And do you believe in miracles? Have you seen that Fox promo where Mike Eruzione from the Miracle on Ice 1980 hockey team is sitting at a bar and these two guys talking like, you think we could win? You think the U.S. could win? Yeah, it's like, why do you buy a lottery ticket? Because maybe you could win. Maybe. And why not? 16 teams, 16 teams now could go to 8, down to 4. Maybe. We look pretty good. It's bringing us together in a beautiful way. I don't think any country needed this more than our own. How is it that a global soccer tournament does more for foreign relations than the United Nations? We crave the interconnectedness, don't we? To me, it's like I see, crowds of people singing Country Road by John Denver and Sweet Caroline and, the Norse Rowers. Roo! The bagpipes in Boston, the barbecue in Dallas. I mean, it's all so good. This song is everywhere. Yeah! I don't know if it's AI or who is it, but some dude, and it's just the world is hanging out of our bar windows. They're hugging. They're eating food they've never had before. They were told it was terrible. They were told America's total shit. America 250 on the mall, not great. The World Cup is everything we need to celebrate. The world celebrating America goes a lot further with me than, us doing it. I like to see people realize we're good. We're good people. Again, Blake Lively, Taylor Swift coming up in a little minute here, but the big, beautiful blonde that I'm into right now is Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland, the modern day Viking. This guy is so fabulous. He is one great big stud. Yesterday, look at this guy. Norway versus Brazil, a huge upset. This dude scores 2 goals. His dancing, his antics. He is big and strong, and he comes running at you, and you shit your pants. After the match, he's doing the big Norse row, which is, I read all about it. It starts slow. They go boom, boom, and then it picks up pace. And it's about as cool as you can get. And they're doing this thing, look at this. The Norwegian military is sending in videos doing this. It's like the Icelandic thunderclap years ago, and the claps would get louder and louder. Some guy developed this. His name is Uli Frøystad. Suburb of Oslo, and he had a bunch of chants and things worked out, and this was influenced by the thunderclap, and then they put this thing together. And Norway hasn't been in the World Cup since 1998. It's been 28 years, and now they're like, I mean, they just upset Brazil. It's exciting. Everyone's a soccer expert. And then, of course, we've got the big issue of our game tonight. Flo Balligan, our striker, is back in. The red card was given out Saturday.
Time battle all game.
Yeah. Oh, Balligan rakes down the back of his leg.
Whether it was. What do you guys think about this? You know, we almost had a major event in this country that did not involve Trump, and yet now, of course, he's deeply involved. He found his way in. I mean, the man likes to be the center of attention, but FIFA reversed the call for the red card after saying there is no recourse. That's it. America, the decision's the decision. America does not get Flo Balligan. He'll be on the bench for the game. Trump makes a phone call to Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, and you know, he asked him to reverse the call or look at it, and he did. I personally would like to hear this guy come forward and say, Trump's phone call to me had nothing to do with it. We were looking at the call anyway, because the greater outrage is the fact that there was a red card in the first place. Every expert, every coach, every retired referee, everybody anywhere said it's the worst call ever. And the ref did not, there was no foul called on the field. He saw the guy go down. So then he decides to go over and watch through VAR, video assisted referee, and watching it in slow motion. Anything you watch in slow motion looks a little bit more dramatic. You're not supposed to view on-field collisions in slow-mo. It's totally tainted. So they make the call. This guy right here, Rafael Klaus, the Brazilian referee. And when you come to Brazil and corrupt, believe, you know, memories of sweet Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Lochte, the swimmer. I mean, 2016, you know, the corruption is deep. But anyway, this guy makes a terrible call. Flo Balligan isn't even looking at him. He's looking the other way. This happened in natural contact. So they reversed the call. And everything's going so well in the World Cup. My heart is full. I love these people. I love that they're here. It makes me like so happy. And now I feel, you know, there's people like the Norwegian coach, you know, Ståle Solbakken. He says it's bad, 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 bad that FIFA reversed this call. It's a shitty system, but at least it's the system. I will say this again. What's really bad is the call in the first place. And before the World Cup, in the qualifying rounds, they did reverse a red card on behalf of Ronaldo from Portugal. They've never done it in the World Cup, but so what? It was a terrible call, and you should have a system for, you know, checks and balances on a referee that is looking at slow motion on something that wasn't even a foul called on the field. That's terrible. So the greater outrage to me is the original call. I am a little bummed out that the world, who's loving, you know, our barbecue and all that shit, is sitting there going, America. You know, America pulled the Trump card, if you will. Some people wish Trump just shut the hell up, didn't get involved, and somehow we won without Flo Balligan. I just don't think we're good enough to win without everything we got. So I'm ready to move right past it and go nuts. I hope it doesn't taint a victory if we get one tonight for anyone else. Belgium, of course, got to file their complaint this morning. We're playing them at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. They got to file their complaint. We'll see what happens, where it goes. I don't think the guy's going to reverse him. Gianni Infantino of FIFA is going to reverse himself again. I think this one goes for Trump. So he may be a bully, but he's our bully, and somebody needed to make this thing right. Anyway, let's talk about the wedding. There's more. We'll do FIFA every day because I'm so into it. But let's talk about the wedding. My great friend Melanie Little is with us. We love Melanie. She, I'm sure, probably has a thought or two on the wedding of Taylor Swift. In fact, I'm surprised you weren't invited. Hello, my love.
Hi, honey. I'm surprised you weren't invited, actually.
I know. It's amazing. People say that to me. They're like, were you at the wedding? And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, just because no. I mean, I'm not like friends with Taylor's. I'd like to be friends with Travis Kelce, though.
Well, you were busy skinny dipping, I saw. Or was that a body double?
Those are like 15-year-old buns. Those are 15 years ago. Those aren't modern day buns. I have to,
Oh, you're pulling the catfish act
Although,
on Instagram?
I've really held up. I've held up okay.
Great.
What do you think
we got to
about
pull up
this?
that photo.
It's 78 degrees in New York. Excuse me. Zoran Mamdani is saying, everybody keep your ACs to 78. There's a heat wave going on in the city. There's people out burning their asses off. And Madison Square Garden, home of the Knicks, is got the AC pumping. It's shut down. The streets are closed all around it, all for a wedding on the 4th of July, basically, which is some people are up in arms about it. What do you think?
Why are they mad about it? Listen, it's the most secure place in New York City, right? If you're going to get married somewhere and you want to keep the paparazzi and the drones away, Madison Square Garden is the best choice because the security is already in place. The place is locked down like Fort Knox. You got places where people can come in without being seen. They were pulling the Suburbans underneath a tent so the celebrities could get out, kept the paparazzi away. They had a police detail, closed off the streets, paid for the permits. I love it. I love everything about it. I'm so happy for her.
Were you surprised that some of more celebrities, more big stars than the Oscars? I mean, we know Bradley Cooper and he's tight with her because of Gigi Hadid and all of that. But Steven Spielberg, is in the house. Brad Pitt, and there's Brad Pitt in the back of the car with his girlfriend Ines de Ramon. Fucking Hugh Grant. Like, what is Hugh Grant? How does he know Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce? It just seems like publicists were inviting clients of their other publicists.
And yet they kept the paparazzi out. So like the only reason we saw, I think he was like Hugh Grant was the first one to get there and the first one to leave. He was the only one really caught outside walking down the street, other than Bradley Cooper walking down the street to get into the black car with Gigi Hadid. They got some shots of him. I mean,
why is he there? I'm trying to find the connection. What is the connection?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that Brad Pitt was there until you just said that 5 minutes ago.
Brad Pitt and Ines de Ramon were there. I mean, look, I get, Jimmy Fallon. Okay, fine. Mariska Hargitay. She was at the Knicks game and probably was like, "Girl, come to my wedding." Oh, okay. I love it. Okay, back to the game. Maybe they met at the Knicks game.
Mariska's been to Taylor Swift's concerts before. Like Mariska was going to Taylor Swift concerts.
Doesn't she have a cat? Maybe. Oh, her Ashley or Benson. I think there's. Oh, Taylor Swift's cat is named after Hargitay's character in
Olivia
SVU.
Benson.
Olivia Benson is one of her cats, as well as Benjamin Button. Oh, and Benjamin Button is Brad Pitt.
Get it?
She invited the celebrities who are named after her. I mean, her cats are named after. Well,
she must love them. And if she's naming her cats, how about Adam Sandler? Do you know the Adam Sandler connection?
He's the efficient.
Do you know how they're connected?
She has a cat named Adam Sandler.
So Adam Sandler's girls have been huge Taylor Swift fans since they were little. And in 2019, Adam Sandler was the MC of the Rock for EB event, which is, I'm sure you've been there. It happens in Malibu every year. It's for a charity for, I think, an agent's to raise money for a EB, which is a disease that I think an agent's child has. And so in 2019, Adam Sandler was the MC. and he sang with Eddie Vedder, and he brought his girls up on stage to sing a Taylor Swift song. They sang Lover. And they, they've always been like, Dad, if you can ever get us to meet Taylor Swift, you're going to be like the coolest dad ever. And I think he took them to SNL to see her one time. And there's a long history there. That was the year that Uncut Gems came out, I think.
Absolutely. Historian and analyst Melanie Little with that.
I
That
mean,
is terrific.
Yeah.
Of course, you're Adam
Good story.
Sandler. You can pretty much do anything, right? Dad, you think you could get it? Please put her in one of my movies.
And he sang a song too. I think he made up a song for them, and he sang a song for
Tim
Taylor and
McGraw
Travis.
and Stevie Nicks both performed there. I mean, she wore that Stevie Nicks shirt to the Knicks basketball game. The guy I love is everything's supposed to be under wraps, right? No one's supposed to talk about it. And then the CEO of AMC movie theaters, Adam Aram, posts and then deletes every detail from, look at this guy. He just had to chirp like a canary. He's singing like a songbird. He's given details of like beautiful, drapes of peach and white, hanging from the ceiling, and blown up pictures of Travis and Taylor from their childhood and teens, and red flowers on he gave like, is this guy, an interior decorator? He gave details of the wedding.
He gave details, no pictures, because there are no phones allowed in. But he's,
pictures.
She's a genius. Her whole Eras Tour movie was only distributed through AMC theaters. So I guess that's her connection with him. And there's also been speculation that there were cameras inside filming this wedding to make maybe another movie for theatrical release. And so it would kind of make sense that she would partner again with AMC. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, it was kind of like everyone signed an NDA, right?
Yeah.
So he really shouldn't have done that. It was not smart. If she gets mad, she might pull the plug on her deal with AMC. So
here's Jackie right here. Jackie's always very, she fires away. I'm effing done with Swift, Markle, Lively, Spears, Kelce's hilarious clothes.
Yeah.
She's had enough. They're calling you Queen Melanie. Did you see this one, fella?
I did. Yes, I did.
You remember that night when we went to the prom? I thought it was great.
So much fun. It was so much fun.
Melanie's father said to me, this is the crazy. He said to me, if she's not home by 11:45, he said, not midnight, 11:45, and don't F with me. He said, I said, whoa. So I had you back at 11:44 just to make sure. Your father's a very intimidating guy. I have to say.
Oh, you know it.
Brutal guy. Oh my God. But lovely. I mean,
people are loving that picture. It's making its way around social media. It's hilarious.
It's kind of fun. Send it around. So I thought, look, the thing that you got to say it. You're a girl's girl, you'll stand by your sister if something's wrong. The fact that Taylor Swift, did not invite Blake Lively, and they have not made up, and some people are floating, it very interesting to me, because if Taylor Swift believed that something had happened to Blake Lively, some type of, sexual assault or misconduct or anything, that like she was wrong and she was an actual victim, she would stand up for it. She's not a, which way the wind blows like most people are. I think she's got a tougher threshold than most people. And she didn't. And it says to me everything. She didn't believe her. Shouldn't believe her at all. Think she's full of it, or she would have stood up for her.
I don't know. I feel like Taylor Swift has been so careful with her public image. I don't know if you watched her documentary that came out like a couple of years ago, but she never wants to get involved in politics. She will never mention politics. And I think she just wanted to stay away from all that noise and all the negative attention that it would bring to her and her reputation. And so I think the best thing for her in her own mind was maybe to just distance herself from Blake. And who knows what really happened behind the scenes, but do you really want Blake coming to your wedding and disrupting the whole thing? Because that's all anybody's going to talk about, right? It's her day.
Well, they're going to talk about it either way, right? Which way are they going to talk about her more? If she's not there because they're best friend, look, 3 of Blake Lively's kids have, Taylor's the godmother of like at least 2 of them. I think it's 3 of them, and remember, there's another interesting thing. Back when the Scott Swift, Taylor Swift's father, he is definitely believed to be the source that Brian Friedman contacted Brian Friedman and said, Baldoni's lawyer, and said, we're getting threats from, Blake's camp here that, she's going to release the texts between her and Taylor if Taylor doesn't step up and say, and defend her. And Scott Swift, we are 98% sure, is the one who reached out to Brian Friedman and was like, okay, we're working with you. We want out of this crazy woman. So I think, but you're right. It's just total, it's a complete and utter distraction. My thing is, people are vilifying, right? Once you've been attacked or taken down, can you come back? Can you be taken? Do you think, just as a human, that Blake Lively could somehow come back and be in people's good graces again?
That's a hard thing. Cancel culture is different now than it used to be, right? There's a lot of people that were canceled
People
and
thought it
came
was
back.
over. It's not over. It may be dormant for a second here or there, but it's not dead.
Yeah.
We're always trying to cancel other people. I just think, like, you got to own whatever is your part of something. There's got to be, it's never a complete, something has to be ownable. And if you do it, and the problem with Blake is she has never, all she's done is deepened the lie, deepened the her commitment to this bullshit narrative, and she's blown off every opportunity to say, I could have done this better. This is on me. This is bad. I don't know what I was thinking. I was in a terrible place. Anything. And she hasn't done it.
Is it too late?
I mean, I don't know how you do it now, though. Frankly, it's like, I always call it the Lance Armstrong syndrome, where he went so deep on his commitment to, I didn't dope. And then finally was like, fucking A, everyone else doped too. But he had every opportunity to say, okay, come clean with people. I find people to be very forgiving.
Yeah.
Everyone is a deeply flawed, human being. We all are wired for good and for evil. So I'm answering your question. Yeah. I think at some point, if she owns her shit, even if it's horrible and moss is on the underbelly of it, the fucking whatever, I think, yes.
Look at, Robert Downey Jr. Wasn't he canceled at one time and nobody ever thought he would work again? And then he came back to prove everybody wrong. Armie Hammer's making a comeback. Nobody ever thought that would happen.
But Armie Hammer will own. I mean, there you go is a great example. See, Armie Hammer, I remember I had him on for an hour and we sat there. I've known Armie forever. By the way, I defended Armie even in the throes of it. But that guy's not afraid though.
Now he is.
I mean, like, I'm a cannibal. I did this.
Hollywood's a crazy fickle thing. Will she ever do a mea culpa? It remains to be seen. Maybe she needs a psychedelic journey and a better PR team.
A psychedelic journey. How are you? You're a fan, right? I mean, you're a big supporter. And look, first of all, you're a deadhead, and you got Dave Matthews all over the place. So you've eaten your fair share of mushrooms.
It was a thing, remember going on tour back in the 80s and 90s. And, that was the culture.
Did you do Fish? Any of those jam bands?
No, I never crossed over into Fish. That was pure deadhead.
Have you heard of Goose?
I have.
Oh, I just found Goose.
We just found Goose. Did you hear about the guy at Madison Square Garden that did the dive off the Chase Bridges at the Goose concert?
That was it, right?
Yeah. He's also playing in Cancun with Dave Matthews this year. Come with me.
Really?
Yep. January. Dave and Tim, 3 nights on the beach with Goose.
Oh my God. What the song that their version of Shamalama Ding Dong?
You can't play it. You'll get stricken.
Oh, I will? Oh.
Yeah. YouTube is crazy with music copyrights.
I love Goose. Oh my God. Shamalama. Woo. Hot. But as far as have you ever done a rehabilitative, like a journey with a facilitator or just like at a concert?
No, just at a concert, but I've heard you talk about it, and so it's piqued my interest. Although I remember your first one was really good, and then the second one not so much.
Yeah,
And then
but
did you do an ecstasy journey too, or an MDMA journey?
and then an MDMA third. But see, if I had to say which was the most impactful, it would be the second one. I'm looking for healing in certain areas, and the second one was where it identified the dark spots in me, the places that are scary that you don't want to go, and then it kind of makes you confront them, and then you come out going, okay, now I can no longer look the other way. So I did a little work, and then after the work, I did the MDMA, which is a euphoric, more of a loving, softer experience. And that broke through that dark place. Boom.
The only way out is through, Billy. That's what they say.
Oh, Melanie. Have you gone through some shit in your life?
Haven't we all? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been around the block and then some. Seen it all, lost it all, got it all back.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Did you get to a place where you thought like, shit, I'm doing, I guess everybody will, or maybe some people don't.
Divorce does that to you, right? I mean, it's just one of the things. Death will do that to you.
Death, divorce, firing, any kind of major life transformation thing. I'm interested in, you know what I'm interested in? Got this healing guy I'm working with, and I'm interested in people who are like untouchable. I went through my own shit, and then, but well embraced and hindsight, I think just enough. It's like the guy, I was snake bitten by a black mambo, just a little bit to get the antibodies, not like so much that you're on death's door. And it's the people that we view as untouchable, as, oh, what a horrible human being. But I'm interested in like, what the hell happened to that person somewhere deep in childhood or along the way or something. Mm-hmm. There's an explanation for this, and not to like absolve them of whatever, sin they've committed. But I'd like to understand it a little bit.
Well, that's what they say too. Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
And I tell my kids that, I have 5 kids. Everyone's had bullying incidents, here and there throughout their teen years and whatever. And I always say, listen, you got to look at where this kid is coming from. Who's raising them? What is their home life like? It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And so much of people's issues later in life are rooted in childhood trauma. I mean, there's been so many studies on it. I don't know if you unlocked any childhood trauma, but that will live with you forever.
Oh, I did. I've got, I mean, and the other thing we say about people, you never know what someone's going through or what someone's been through, really. So we all, have the internet, which helps us, access information to judge the shit out of people, but you don't really know their full story. And the most untouchable, I'm interested in those stories. And for their own healing, that's why the psychedelic therapies, I believe in it so much. I'm telling you, Melanie, if you did this in like maximum security prisons, and you did a massive clinical study with facilitators with these, and all of a sudden that ego and that protective barrier is gone. It's all the way down, and nothing but simple truth is remaining with these people. The shit you would hear, and the fact that it came out. I'm not saying let them all out. I'm no socialist here. I'm not in the DSA, but I think you'd see something powerful. I really do.
Interesting. Well, MDMA has historically been used in therapy, right? To get people to open up and tell the truth. And
the FDA was, because all it does is it takes your ego, which is ego equals voice in the head. And the voice in the head we all have, and most of it is pretty much running a negative narrative the whole time. But when that comes down and the voice in the head is silent, then you're just left with the truth. And in my case, in that MDMA journey, I realized the lessons of my father I'd gotten far away from, or I'd gotten not far, but they weren't, he really taught me well how to be a good person, be a faithful person, be a loyal person. Don't do too, I'm like, old school dad. I got a little away from it. And I realized, oh no, these are really good. He's handing me the blueprint for a really good, balanced life. And so after that, I kind of got back to it. And isn't it interesting? Things start opening up and they start falling into place. So I guess I was needing to be more in alignment.
Yeah, you had the tools all along. You just kind of lost the tools along the way.
Exactly.
When you talk about these untouchable people, like if you could interview one person that you consider to be like what you're calling untouchable, who would it be? Like what kind of people are you talking? Who are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I guess, Candace Owens kind of did. I mean, Harvey Weinstein would be like an untouchable human being. Like what he did is. Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm exonerating Harvey Weinstein, but I mean, to understand him and what his childhood was like and that kind of thing. And then then there's like, who else is being vilified? The sports reporter who, Diana Rossini. Who I don't know what the story is. I don't know, the depths of what happened. All I know is here's a person on top of her game, the highest paid reporter and really kind of like NFL insider, which everyone wants an insider, but she was effective for The Athletic, New York Times sports publication. And just riding the highest high. And now she's, reeling. And I'd like to understand her. And I think, that's a person for whom I have a giant capacity to forgive and to when we eventually hear from her. Oh my God, someone put Rex Heuermann. Wow, now you're really testing me. Melanie.
Really Long Island serial killer. He's a Long Island serial killer. I mean, that would be an interesting guy to interview.
I would send you in there. You're tougher than me.
I saw him in court. I was in court one day when he was there, and he turned around, and he looked right at me, and I swear to God, I could feel the evil emanating from this man. Like it was chilling. It was chilling.
Oh my God! And with the kids and stuff, what is that? What is, you have children and you're in this marriage, and the wife has no clue? Do we believe that? No clue?
That's what they're saying. I mean, I watched her give interviews in a documentary, and it seemed like she had her own, childhood traumas and her own like situations, a prior marriage that may have been, I don't know, abusive. And she was just, under Rex's control. And I think he can, when he confessed, allegedly all of these murders were done when she was out of town with the kids. Whenever they would go on vacation, that's when he would be, meeting up with these women and then doing God knows what to them for who knows how long, and then murdering and disposing of their bodies right along Gilgo Beach, which is, those are our beaches here on Long Island. Those are the ocean beaches. It's crazy.
He got away with it for 25 years, 23 years, something like that.
I think his earliest was like in the 93.
Ugh.
Over 30 years.
Karen Sutter's on the screen here with the Michael Proctor. Absolutely. Now that any one of those people, but especially Michael Proctor and Sean Gooden, not so. I mean, Proctor would be an amazing person to understand. Where did you get so jaded? Where did you get so racist? Where did you get so this anger that's in him? Where does it come from? You might find out that he was beaten by his father constantly. I don't know. But again, this isn't about like, you can judge him as you want, but I'd like a full picture.
Yeah, I don't have any sympathy for him. I think that he is a guy who just got away with it for decades. I think that the police force, the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton PD have been doing this kind of stuff for decades. They've never been caught. They feel like they're above the law. They go out of their way to protect each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to segue into that, listen, Sean Good's messages came out. He's the Sergeant Canton PD, also one of the first responders to the murder of John O'Keefe. Also, his messages came out. They were, if you can believe it, 10 times worse than Proctor. Like the virulent bigotry.
Sean Good was worse?
Oh my God, Billy. Oh my God, I'll send you a
Well, when
document.
is he the one that he was talking about the high school, going to the high school and all the N-word droppings and everything?
Yeah, and horrible. Nobody was safe. Anti-Semitic, racist, the N-word everywhere. Special needs people. Like there's a whole page on things that he would say about special needs people. Michael
Is
Proctor
nobody
joked about
safe?
planting evidence. Michael Proctor joked about sticking a nightstick up some guy's butt, planting a bag of coke on him, and saying, "You're going in." All right, that is the most explosive thing to me, despite all the horrific misogynistic things that he said and racist. The fact that he's willing to joke around with his law enforcement buddies about planting evidence on a guy, it makes it all the more likely that maybe, just maybe, he sprinkled some taillight at the scene of 34 Fairview, or somebody else did, right?
Yeah.
Every single case Michael Proctor ever touched is going to be reexamined.
Oh, for sure, as it should be, right? I mean,
Yeah.
every one of these people, I think they've all probably come forward and they're all asking for access to his, they all want the 10 years of Proctor's cell phone that, Alan Jackson and company got a hold of. What do
Yeah.
we think about what happened with, Proctor? Of course, I mean, he obviously feels fear and panic, and I guess this, the personal medical conditions, that whatever his lawyers used to get him out of his initial deposition date, or at least got it postponed until the end of the day, and then they called it for the next day. Whatever he used, I mean, he must be having terrible, overwhelming anxiety, because he is, I mean, he is persona
His
non
world is
grata
falling
in the
apart.
world.
He's
Yeah,
lost everything.
right. He's a detestable human being. So he's obviously, at least it says that he's wired in a certain way, that he feels something maybe, or do you think it's just legal strategy and playing it?
I mean, listen, the scariest person is the person who's got nothing left to lose, right?
Yeah.
It came out Friday that there was another Freedom of Information dump that came out. And it turns out that we found in there letters from like Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe's dad, Kerry Roberts, and some other woman, all pleading with the district attorney all the way back in 2024 to not fire Proctor.
Really?
They really wanted him to keep his job.
Why do you think that is?
Because remember when Colin
Payback.
Albert's mother wrote a text message to Michael Proctor's sister the day that Karen Reed was first arrested and brought into court wearing the mask? It was like back in 2022. She said, "Tell your brother I want to get him a thank you gift when this is all over."
Yes, yes, yes.
And Michael Proctor's sister told Michael Proctor, and Proctor said, "Tell her to get one for my wife instead." Why do you think she wanted to get him a thank you gift, number one? And now, was this payback for, he's like, look what I did for you. Now you need to do something for me, because if I lose my job out of this, who knows what I might say when they call me in to be deposed or whatever. Who knows if Michael Proctor's been threatened, if they got to him? Who knows if he knows a lot of secrets, where the bodies are buried? And he's the fall guy right now for all of this, right? He's the one whose life has been destroyed. He lost his job. He lost his pension. He lost his family. I heard that his house is going on the market. People are saying he's now living with his sister. He's having this maybe it's a mental issue. I don't know. But the walls are crumbling down on this guy. And I think there's a lot of fear out there about what he might say. And so his deposition did happen, but it was only half a day. And it's supposed to get, and Alan Jackson's going to keep him in that hot seat for a week, probably, at least, right? Yeah. He's got nothing left to lose.
Nothing left to lose. He's got his back up against the wall. This guy's like, okay, they were thanking him for not coming into the house. He never entered the house to conduct any type of, surveillance of the home where the dead guy's on the lawn. You don't even go in. I mean, immediately he writes it off. It's her, it's this woman. But why wouldn't he flip? He's lost everything. Why would you still protect the McAlberts and these people?
Because maybe they've threatened him, they've threatened his family. Who knows? It's it feels to me a lot like a mafia story, like, why are all of these people being protected? Why did Michael Morrissey release this like hostage video clearing everyone in that house back in August of 2023, mentioning Colin Albert's name more than he mentioned John O'Keefe's name, saying how Karen Reed's defense was, a false narrative, John O'Keefe never went in the house. These are innocent witnesses. People have to stop harassing them. You know, how did they have a bat phone line to Michael Morrissey, the district attorney, and get him to release this wild statement, which completely tainted the jury pool? No DA would ever do that. It's wild. I don't know, but I think it goes a lot deeper than Karen Reed. And I think it goes into decades of pervasive corruption, racism, bias in the department, in the DA's office, in Canton PD. People who live in Massachusetts will tell you that it has been like this for decades. And it's a scary, scary thing. And Karen Reed was an outsider. So, you know, it's not so unusual that all these people try and protect each other. They're born and bred Canton. They're born and bred Massachusetts. Everyone in Canton PD went to high school together. I mean, it's insane.
I always think of Peggy O'Keefe, John's mother, and I just see that this is a woman who's grown up. You know, we all need structure in our lives, and we all depend on whatever, you know, system we grew up in or we know. And that's all she ever knew. And this woman has got absolute deniability. She cannot see, won't even allow it in there. And they know this about her. I mean, if she was truly an open-minded person, she'd be like, wait a minute, something really doesn't add up over here. And she is just, she can only see one thing, and that's little Karen Reed as the victim. Little Karen Reed just ready to go up the river if she had just gone quietly. She's a freaking Joan of Arc. She's a hero. It's true.
Yeah.
She's a tough little woman. I mean, that would have torn apart anybody, and she's still going. Of course, we've got the knight in shining armor. We love Alan Jackson.
Yeah, we do.
I enjoy a Vesper Martini with Alan. This trial gave me a friend in Alan Jackson. We get together for Vesper Martinis every once in a while. He's my guy.
I love him. Yeah.
Had him over to my house. He came over to watch a playoff football game and brought me a very expensive whiskey. I mean, an Alan Jackson, you know.
Oh, he didn't show up arms a swinging, huh? He came in with the hot gift. I like that.
He came in.
Says a lot about a guy.
A very nice whiskey. I mean, he did, you know, I was like, wow, he's a whiskey man. I like that too.
Did you see Colin Albert join the army?
Colin Albert joined the army.
Enlisted in the army.
That's how desperate he was to get away. He's like,
before his deposition.
I'm going to serve my country. Law enforcement is already, what's one step above law enforcement that shows you to be a great American?
During wartime, he's enlisting.
I am going to enlist.
Really?
Serve our country.
Was he rehomed like, you know, Chloe the German Shepherd?
I guess his knuckles have healed, and he's doing.
He's never been in a fight before, Billy. Though, remember, he's never been in a fight before.
No, God no.
Bang bang.
Yeah, I don't know what's next. Where do we? I know we had 2 depot dates for Michael Proctor, the 25th and July 14th. Bastille Day is Bastard Day in America. Will that continue, or is Proctor done?
The court has actually pulled the plug on that for now. He's put a stay on Michael Proctor, any further discovery against Michael Proctor, because this is wild. The judge claims that he got notified, he doesn't say by who, that somehow Michael Proctor's private medical information was released on Twitter, that he became aware that somebody tweeted about it from somebody. He called every single attorney in this case. There's something like 25 attorneys or more into court for a conference Wednesday before the 4th of July. Alan Jackson had to fly in from California for this. It was 15 minutes long. The judge read them the riot act like a speech and then walked off the bench, didn't let anybody speak. And he said, if this happens again, if somebody violates my court order again, I could dismiss this case or hold Karen Reed in default. And he said, I can permanently prevent any further discovery against Michael Proctor. And there's no evidence of what the judge saw, who sent it to him. I mean, and you know how many trolls are out there making up stuff and sending crazy things to judges and putting things on the internet. 32 attorneys. Thanks, Amanda.
Jesus, 32 attorneys involved in the whole thing?
They all had to come in. He read a speech about God bless America and the quiet solemnity of the courtroom and this cannot be a media spectacle.
But
And then
Melanie,
he marched off the bench.
but where is
Alan
the
Jackson?
tweet?
Alan's there going, the judge leaves, and Alan's like, do we get to, can we be heard? Can we be heard?
Wait, can we see the tweet though? He referred to a tweet that's out there that contained a lot of the information that Michael's lawyers were sort of, complaining about, that this is, private information of Proctor's that's been out there. And somebody, quoted it in a tweet, which one of you 32 people is behind this? But where is the actual tweet?
He had all 32 of them sign an affidavit that they didn't really release it and they don't know who did. And they did that before the court date. He still made them all come in. And Turtle Boy, he's a friend of yours too, right? He's been on your show before. Turtle Boy had gotten some intel a couple days before this, before these papers were even filed, that Michael Proctor was in some sort of rehab in Florida. And he talked about it on his show that he got this source who told him this. He didn't know if it was true or not, and that he was separated from his wife. That's all he said. If it turns out that that is what was true, that had already been out before these papers were filed with the court. And the attorneys have a right to know what it is that the judge saw, who did it, who sent it to him. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there making up a lot of stuff, filing false documents and so forth, that really, really, really hate Karen Reed and Aiden Turtle Boy Carney. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. I mean, this case is going to go on for decades. These civil suits are going to bankrupt Massachusetts, and it's going to expose all of the corruption in Massachusetts too. And I'm here for it. We're on season 3 right now. Season 1 was Karen Reed's first trial. Season 2 was Karen Reed's second trial, which ended, thank God, in an acquittal. Now we're on the civil suits and the defamation suits against Aiden Carney and Karen Reed, and Karen Reed suing everybody. And the wrongful death car accident case, for a car accident that didn't happen. Season 4 is going to be when the right people end up in handcuffs.
The right people end up in handcuffs, and then the happy ending is if there is some sort of systemic change, and that would be incredible. But it's a rotten to the core system, and if somehow it becomes a just system afterwards, maybe that'd be great.
Maybe some real justice for John O'Keefe too, right?
Oh,
that's why we're all screaming here. Like, really, John O'Keefe really needs justice. And the fact that they did such a crappy investigation into the death of a Boston police officer should outrage everyone.
Yeah. If Mrs. Proctor left him, they say stand by your man, but I think we can forgive her. I think she doesn't need to stand by.
I mean, her whole, she just wanted to be married to a cop, from what I understand, but she did a lot of things too. She called a lot of people's employers that were saying bad things about Proctor on Facebook and got them fired, tried to get them fired. Like, she's no angel in all this either. And she came out and gave some weird interview with Proctor's sister about what a great guy he is. And then Proctor did an interview the day of Karen's acquittal and said, they said, would you do anything differently? And he said, no, I wouldn't.
He said some pretty gross stuff about women he's obviously slept with. So she probably got, at least she thought he might be faithful to her, or unless he was talking about her in that way, I think it was other women.
I don't know. He's talking about like roofing women and doing things to them when they were asleep because he couldn't get in there. And
something about the butt that I don't even want to get into.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
They don't have the bandwidth.
Coercive type of things that are not becoming.
Horrible, coercive, terrible things. Yeah, so we'll never be over this, which means we'll always be talking.
Yeah, it's not going to end anytime soon. I think it's only going to get worse before it gets better.
There it is. Melanie, will you just give your dad my best? He's a wonderful guy. I'm still a little afraid of him, but
scary dude.
Thank him so much. Okay,
I will. I think you should put up your skinny dipping picture that you post. There it is. Great minds.
What happened to my ass? It's a little ass, but it's still pretty much the same ass. I gotta say it. Yeah,
that picture's making the rounds. So is that from a long time ago, and you just put it into your Instagram reel?
It's exactly where I am right now in Maine. I thought it's a great, and I have like a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old that I cropped out of the photo. They're standing in their little life jackets next to me, and their little butts are out. But we don't put baby butts up.
No. Your kids when they were little? Is that who you're talking?
Yep.
Oh,
Down on the dock in their little, life jackets, ready to jump in with the old man and go for. It's very character building, water up here. Very cold.
I
you
know. I used to go to York Beach.
That's
when
why I
was a
didn't
kid,
turn
and it's
around.
amazing. It's like an ice bath. That's why what? No.
That's why I didn't turn around.
George Costanza.
Shrinkage,
The
Jerry.
water was cold. It was cold.
It was cold, Jerry.
That was the Hamptons episode. That was the Hamptons episode with the lobsters. With
So
with
fantastic.
Kramer stealing the lobsters from the traps. Remember, you don't do that.
Oh my God. Oh.
Have you ever interviewed Taylor Swift?
Yeah, but way back in the day, she was 13.
Oh, wow.
And it was at Access Hollywood, and she came to the set, and she brought her little guitar, and she played for everybody on the set, and she was adorable. And then she came into the voiceover booth, and like she was playing around with, I was recording some voiceover tracks, and she was in there. She was adorable, and her mom was there, and she was just a little kid.
Could you tell then that she was going to be a big star?
No,
Did you see anything in her?
Not this level. I mean,
Yeah.
She was great. I think the difference with her and some of these other country singers with guitars and beautiful voices is her songwriting.
Yeah.
She knows how to strike the nerve of what other girls especially are feeling. You know what I mean? And that connection is what it strikes people in the microbiome. You know what I mean? And that's
Are your girls into Taylor Swift?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Your girls are beautiful, by the way. You have a beautiful family. I saw you posted some pictures of them on Instagram too from the weekend, I guess, unless those were old pictures too, but beautiful.
Oh no. Those are them. Yeah, that's my youngest one who's with her. She called me today. She goes, Dad, did you hard launch me on Instagram with my boyfriend? I'm like, I'm this. I go, oh, I'm sorry.
I saw that.
He's like, you posted it before me. And I'm like, sorry? I don't know. I never do everything right? They're always mad at me about something.
Oh, dude, you're not allowed to post pictures of them unless they pre-approve them. Don't you know that?
Shit. I just
then they don't like the picture. Hopefully you didn't tag the guy.
No. He's just, oh my God. I got to say, when you have, my girls are 21, 25, 27. People say to me like, how are they doing? Most times in my life, one hasn't been, you never get all three doing really well at the same time. Two are doing well, one is struggling. One is doing well, two are struggling. It's never that all three are doing well. And that means emotionally, not, just professionally, have a job or whatever it is. They're in good places. You know what I mean? Like this is the first time that it's a sweet spot, and we've got some great boyfriends, and I'm like, it's all good.
Yeah, it's nice. Flip the script though on that. Instead of saying like struggling, to say they're not all happy at the same time.
Yeah.
So I say, like, there's never a time when all your kids are happy at the same time. And when they're all happy at the same time, that's when the magic happens. And then
it's when the magic happens, and you
proudest
realize
moments.
I don't, I have my own ambitions, desires, but their happiness really, when you get to be, at this point, it's like, is so much more important. If they're good, I'm good. What they say, about, you're only as happy as your least happy child. I think that's correct. I can't look past I can't think about myself if one of them is hurting. It's just,
I know. Oh, you're an empath like me. You feel your kid's pain, and it's like, there's nothing, no worse feeling than feeling like you can't fix it. Right. And you just want to fix it. No matter how old they are, you just want to make them feel better and fix it. And it's heartbreaking.
Do you have boys?
I have 2 boys and 3 girls. Yeah.
2 boys and 3 girls. Jesus, it's an army. You'd think I'd know after the prom.
I know. Well, we haven't kept in touch. A lot has happened since that senior prom.
I know. But the boys, they say, like, I saw an interesting post about boys, and it was like, the kid who's playing the video games and like he's sort of apathetic. Hey, can you kick out the trash? I'll do it. I'll do it later. Is it just like I remember my mom is 87 years old and she's not here right now, but she is a ball buster. She is tough. We had chores. We had things we had to do. I had to mow the grass, every weekend it would come. I couldn't go anywhere until and I had to mow fields and lawns and I had my shit to do before I could do anything else. I just feel like that is gone. I don't know that there's, or at least in the people I know, it's a little, maybe it's out there, but a little softer, a little bit like leave them to their own computers and their own devices. And you wonder why they're not happy.
Yeah. I feel like you really need to interact with your kids. You know what I always say, buy the tickets
and make them suffer.
Things.
Let them
buy
suffer.
The tickets, take your kids places, make memories with them. Don't just let them.
And don't fix everything.
Be on their devices.
If they're struggling with something or trying to find a way out or having a difficulty with something, let them try and figure it out. Let them flounder a little bit. This is where the character is built. When you find your way out of something on your own power.
Yeah. Doesn't Anderson Cooper talk about that a lot? About he was never like given money. I mean, Gloria Vanderbilt was his mother, right? And he was raised, right, in a different way where he had to like find his own way, kind of.
You want to hear something funny about Anderson Cooper?
Mm-hmm.
When I was starting in television, this is how old I am. Before I got hired by Access Hollywood to be the East Coast correspondent of that show, I had started on the local NBC station doing some feature reports on their early morning show that came on before the Today Show. And I was waiting for them to hire me, like, give me a real job. I'm just doing like a weekly piece, but like I was waiting to get the big nod, but I knew things were going well because there was feedback and stuff. CNN called me and they were like, hey, we see what you're doing in that early morning thing. We'd like you to join our morning show with Paula Zahn and maybe come do a few things. Could you do like 3 days? And I did 3 days straight on the Paula Zahn American Morning or whatever it is. And that's when NBC saw me and they were like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Why are you on CNN? I said, well, I don't have a full-time contract, so I'm just trying to earn money. And they were like, okay. And they gave me the full-time contract and the whole thing. And I went off to NBC and I did my thing. And the next week, I was the third guy on the show. There was another grumpy dude, I forgot his name, with Paula Zahn. But then Anderson Cooper came in and they brought him in as the third wheel after I peeled out. And his run at CNN has been nothing but iconic. So,
yeah. Wow. Look at that. You would have taken a different path. You wouldn't have done the Hollywood news so much as more like political, hard news. What do you think you would have liked better? I
like where I am now, which is sometimes I like the tea. Sometimes I like to talk about the tea and what's going on with sometimes it's a little true crime. Sometimes it's Karen. Sometimes it's Blake. Sometimes it's Mom freaking Dami and socialism in America and Spencer Pratt running for mayor when he used to be a TV villain and everything. And now the World Cup. I mean, it's good for my ADD. Whatever kind of hits me in the zeitgeist, I'm just kind of obsessively on it.
And that's the beauty of being your own boss. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. You can just hit go on YouTube and you can come on here and you can talk about whatever your chat wants to talk about. You can talk about whatever you feel like you want to talk about. You're not reading off a teleprompter some nonsense that some intern wrote for you that doesn't feel natural, right?
True. Yeah, look at this. Oh, see people. Look at Jackie. We have a lot of crazy people. We have some wild people in here.
I went to, here's a fun fact about Anderson Cooper. When I was 14, my mother used to take us into the city every Saturday. And my sister and I went to acting classes at the neighborhood playhouse, and Anderson Cooper was in my class. What? And so years later, when I went into the CNN studios to interview with Anderson Cooper for a case that I was handling, I said off camera, and like, you probably don't remember this, but do you remember the neighborhood playhouse? Like when we were teenagers, we were in the same class, and he was like, "Oh my god, I remember you." And I think he was lying, but isn't that funny? Ali
I know.
Sheedy also in my class. That's how old
Ali
I
Sheedy
am.
from the Breakfast
Mhm.
Club from the
Mhm.
the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
Holy
Crazy.
shit! I grew up on 86th Street between York and East End, right? You know, half a block from Carl Schurz Park, and now Mom Donnie's house. So I walked past the little neighborhood playhouse. What was it, 70 something, or was it what?
I thought it was in the
Second Avenue,
50s. I thought it was like in the
50s?
50s.
Yeah. Between Second and
I want to
First.
say like 55th. Yeah, I don't remember exactly where it was. I remember going there and him being in my class and Ali Sheedy, and then she went on to do the Breakfast Club. And
Wow.
yeah, crazy story, right?
Holy shit! You were. It's like the Mickey Mouse Club. You know, he was your
Yeah, like Britney
Ryan Gosling.
Spears.
You were the Britney Spears, and he was the Ryan Gosling, and everyone goes and does their thing. This is an
You
awesome.
never know which way your life is going to go, right? And you
Yeah.
can pivot at any time. Look at us hanging out on YouTube at our age. Like, who knew this was ever going to happen? I thought YouTube was just for music videos and people playing video games and Roblox. You know, like
54th Street, by the way. That's where. That's what. That's
I
where
didn't go
the
to NYU, but my sister did, and she went to NYU with Adam Sandler. They were in the same dorm. Still friends to this day.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's
Funny.
the old stomping grounds. I don't know. Sometimes I miss New York, but you're out there in. Oh, look at that. Billy Bush is afraid of socialism, and I love that for him. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Billy Bush is a student of history, and he's noticed that it doesn't work. Yeah.
Oh, I saw you cold calling for your brother to get people to get out the vote in Maine. I love that for you.
He
I was a
lost.
telemarketer once in high school, and that was the worst job ever. And the way all those people were hanging up on you, I was just dying laughing. It was hysterical.
Oh, my brother lost, and
Oh,
he went up to a parade in Eastport, Maine, which is 3 hours plus from where we are. It's the Canadian border. It's the coastline as far as you can take it in Maine to the Canadian border. It is the east. They call it Eastport, Maine, because it's the easternmost city in the United States, and it's a small city. It's a town, but he was marching with Susan Collins up there, who a lot of the people that were kind of volunteered for him are now moved over to her. He lost. Is not the nominee, but so he was up
what?
there with her.
That's somebody was stuffing those ballot boxes. There's no way that a Bush could lose.
Yeah,
right?
Bush is loose right now. I mean, but there may be another day. I
Recount.
think he needed to lose, but every Bush, George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, they all lost before they won. No, none of them just, started winning. You gotta weed them out, right? Do you have the stick to itiveness to, get back up and run again? So we'll see. I think he will. Anyway,
Good. Sounds like a good guy.
I love you. You are. I got to go do. I got to do a little exercise. Go for a run, maybe. Maybe go
Play
for
some
a
golf.
swim,
Is it raining there? It's raining here.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, the moon suddenly came out. Moon suddenly came out.
Moon over Maine.
We're passing that picture around, Billy, like you don't know. It is now in many group texts. We are.
Oh,
thank you
God.
for the morning. So thank you for the morning surprise.
You.
We're having coffee with Billy Bush's moon. Is what we're doing.
Hot cross buns, baby. Put them in there. All right. USA soccer tonight. We got the big game. Let's go. Everybody get together. We'll talk about it tomorrow. What do you think? Is noon? Like, I'm on the East Coast now. Do we like noon as a time? Should it be a little earlier?
You can ask your chat, but I like noon for you better than, I don't know, what were you doing before? You doing like 9 a.m. Eastern? You were doing like 6
Well, I'm in
a.m.
LA, so
LA?
9 Pacific, 9 a.m. Pacific. Would 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, maybe? I don't know. Then you can, be out.
You do
for
what
the
works
day.
for you. And well, people will show up. So whatever works best for you. Like, you don't need to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning with like crust in your eyes coming on the air. Who wants that? You need time to do a little something, drink your coffee,
I think that, and
Wake
then even
up.
go play 9 holes and then come back. I'm thinking 11 a.m.
Exactly.
Eastern is the move.
Exactly.
The
Retest
Bush
the market.
push. God damn it. What have you
Bush
done? What have I
tush.
done? I shouldn't have done it. Anyway, there it is. Oh, well. Those are my buns. What are you going to do?
Listen, you got nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
Be rocking those buns all over town.
They're great buns. Let's be honest. Mel, I love you, babe. Thank you so much.
Love you back.
So much.
Thanks for having me.
We're all over you. Attorney Melanie Little on YouTube, right here with us, and we are honored. Thanks.
Thank you. Anytime.
See you, my love.
Bye.
And you know what we should do? Like, if she'll do it, we'll do a little weekly gossip with Mel. She's so cool. Really admire her. She's, she just built this on her own. COVID hit, and she just built it. She built it. She's smart. She's curious. She's always got something to add. So, and that's the internet can be a negative place. Like, it can be and it can also, like, I didn't know Melanie before. The internet, YouTube is where we meet. I don't know, anyone in here until this is with Allie in Texas, for example. Allie in Texas and Pamela Summers. I mean, this is where we meet. Okay. Yeah. It's authentic little chat with her. Okay. So many things I was going to get to today, but I think we get ready for tomorrow. You know what I mean? And we'll do once a week with Mel if she'll do it. Guys, I love you. I'm so glad that we're back already. Cut that vacation in half. What's the point of being off? This is wonderful. And guys, we'll get into it tomorrow. But, Steve, my producer, Steve's got a great opportunity. And we have a new thing beginning in September for this show. We'll talk more about it as it comes up. But we have a new partnership that's can take this kind of to another level, which is kind of cool. And you know who's helping me do it? Harry. There's Harry. Harry likes to sit in the dark. He's dark Harry. He refuses to put a light on. He likes to work in the dark.
It looks a lot darker than it is. It's pretty light in here, but I know it looks dark.
Does Harry have the best voice ever? He was talking to some people that we're doing this new, show with, and they were like, "Oh my God, that guy's voice! Holy shit!"
I think I wasn't on camera, so my voice just appeared out of nowhere, saying "Bushy." May I speak?
Harry. So if you're wondering who keeps putting the picture of my ass up, there it is. Dark Harry and Light Bushy and Full Moon Bushy. We are out like Buster Douglas. Thank you all, and we'll see you tomorrow, probably at 11 a.m. I'm thinking maybe an hour earlier, if that's okay. Ta-ta. Let's get our little outro. Where's my little outro, Harry? Little, that little thing.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Hang on one second here. It doesn't want to go. We're gonna have to play it out with just some music, Bushy. I'm sorry.
Really? Yeah, give me some music.
All right, hang on one second. Let me give you a little something here for the Hot Mics music.
Yeah. Wow. Now. Got my soccer ball. Got my flags. Go USA.
Doing me, man.
That's insane. Belly bash. What a time.
Another compliment there.